You're tuned in to Steve Megatron on Altered Geek Unlimited.
Hello and welcome to Altered Geek Unleashed. I'm your host, Steve Megatron Phillips, and joining me this week is...
the ghost with the most, the host with the most. I am Mike, the Birdman of ThisWeekinGeek.net.
Yes.
Exciting shit, isn't it?
Yes. Oh, man. So what's been up in the last week?
Honestly, I've been playing nothing but Skyrim, the Call of Duty beta on PlayStation 4, and as of today, the Xbox One version of it, because it's finally working. Big news this week for me, for those of you that listen to Twig and remember the Transformers pod, I can't remember, what the fuck was the podcast that Spada did?
TF Wire.
Yeah, the old TF Wire podcast, one of their hosts, Ryan Merkley, who joined us at Twig years back. I finally met Ryan face-to-face this week, because he's up at a training thing about like an hour from my house. So I'm thinking, fuck, dude, I've got no reason to not meet you this week. So that was pretty exciting meeting him. Got a chance to reconnect with an old friend this week whom I used to have a major crush on when I was a kid. We were virtually like, okay, if we'd been in the same school for one more year, guaranteed I would have dated her. Then there was a bunch of drama for like 10, 20 years, and then finally things got better this past winter, and I finally got a chance to see her again face-to-face very briefly on Wednesday night. So honestly, this week was a week of reunion, and I so needed good news this week. So yeah, that's what's been going on, and I'm randomly purging and selling my stuff. So I've been selling nothing but graphic novels and comic books. So, man, a lot of stuff's going out the door in the next week.
Well, for me, I've been kind of gathering up old electronics around my house and then selling them on Amazon for the trade-in program. Which, as long as I get a decent amount, I'm fine. I'm going to pick up the Beast Wars Rhinox figure finally. That was the Transformers 30th anniversary line version of him, because it's fully detailed like the actual cartoon.
It looks like the show.
Yes. And I have the Rat Trap already. I have the Dinobot. There's going to be a Black Arachnia one, animated one, coming out shortly that actually looks like the show. And I'm going to pick that up as well when that comes out. But, so yeah, that was part of my method for doing that. The other part was I need to get a new video card because the one in my tower is probably like 8 years old. It may not be that old, but it's the beginning PCI Express. It's a 640 megabyte NVIDIA card, and I'm pretty sure the rest of my family's on at least a 2 gig. And I've been playing Battlefield 4 with my family for the most part throughout the week, since they so nicely donated the entire game and the expansions to me. So I've been playing that online with them and kind of training myself even when they're not online. And occasionally my graphics card crashes the game. So I have to exit out all the way and then go back in. But I can get a video card, like a 2 gig card for like $47, so it's not that bad. I'm going to use some of that money for that. And then try and sell my old card and maybe get a little bit out of it so I can buy something else. So yeah, I've been doing that, and then I've been tweaking stuff with the website. I relaunched All Things Transformers version 3.0 this time, earlier today. So there's that. And then other than that, just been really watching a lot of YouTube videos and kind of keeping up on all the geeky news throughout the week that I want to talk entirely too much about that there's not enough time to do.
One of the things that I wanted to talk about off the hop of the show, only because it's so stressing me out, and someone's going to say, it's time to check your privilege here, so allow me to explain. So, as you guys know, I review video games professionally for a couple of radio stations here in Canada and across the U.S. So this past Sunday, the embargo lifted for Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. You'd think I'd be reviewing a game like that. You would be wrong. Because for some reason, some outlets are getting it super fucking early. I knew people that had this game like a week and a half into like August. So that's fucked up, but okay, I'm willing to understand. Some people had it on PC, and you had to have basically God's machine to run it. Okay, that's fine. Then I find out another person that I work with in Toronto has a PS4 copy. I'm thinking, all right, they're a magazine, they've got a long lead. I'm radio, our coverage is like television. It's immediate. So I find out this week I'm not getting my review copy until launch day. This is where I get pissed off. As in, what's the fucking point to give someone a game on launch day? And I got talking about this with some people on my Facebook who also work in the PR industry. And sometimes advanced coverage is not always a good thing. AKA, they don't necessarily believe in the product. Which is really, really all sorts of fucked up. Because I love the Metal Gear franchise, and I'm in pretty tight with Konami, always have been. And it frustrates me, because this is a game a friend of mine beat, and for him to do the base storyline with like virtually no extras took him 30 hours. If this game comes out on Tuesday, I have to have it beat because we go to air on Sunday, which means I have to have everything done by Saturday. So I'm not going to sleep, and Mad Max comes out next week too. The Mad Max video game, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, how the fuck am I going to do this in the same week? Like, seriously, guys, you got to be fucking kidding me. Because of all the fucked up politics over at Konami, not just in Japan, I imagine it's probably spread over to the Americas too. It's just unbelievably frustrating. Because I've had friends try to help me out with this, people who work in the industry, and I'm not shit-talking them, not at all. It's just like, how do you expect people to get coverage out for this game when you're giving it to them virtually at, like, the 11th hour? And I know there are other major publications, like, I think PC Gamer, as of last week, didn't have their copy either. As far as I recall, that's a pretty big magazine and website. So it's a lot of what the fuck. You're giving it to Jeff Keighley on Twitter because he has a personally signed copy from Hideo Kojima. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, I know you're in the industry, dude, but come on. Some of us got to work for a living. So that's my mini rant because I'm so annoyed. But I really just, honestly, pardon me, Steve, I just want to live Metal Gear one last time. Because I know the franchise is dead after this. Because pachinko machines. And
you mean for the same reason that you won't ever see a Mega Man game again?
Actually, they did
or
release...
Mega Man X?
They did release a Mega Man game this week.
Really?
But it's a game you've seen before. The Mega Man Legacy Collection came out on Xbox One, PC, and I'm pretty sure PlayStation 4 this past week. It's a great remaster of the old games, although the trick to kill the Yellow Devil in the first Mega Man game no longer works. So now you have to beat him the old-fashioned way, which is a whole lot of fuck you.
Yeah, see, I didn't like the original Mega Man games. I liked the X games.
I don't like the original Mega Man, but I love Mega Man 2, 3, and 6. 4 to a limited extent, they introduced the charge shot.
Yeah, see, I didn't like any of them because I like the movement that you gain with playing Mega Man X.
Oh yeah, because you've got that dash, which is really helpful.
And you can climb up the wall.
For me, the main reason I like the old Mega Man games, it's the music. For me, like...
I can see that.
Like, the first 3 Mega Man games are some of the best in the series. Like, my favorite tune of all time is probably Airman, and probably Metal Man, and then Hard Man, and then maybe Top Man. Like, fantastic tracks. Like, if you've ever listened to the Megas, which is this awesome nerd video game group, they do music based upon Mega Man games, and they did 2 albums over the last couple of years called History Repeating Red and History Repeating Blue. And they take these tracks and turn them into rock tracks. They are phenomenal, and that's their Mega Man 3 album. They did, or their Mega Man 3 2-pack. They did one a couple years prior called Get Equipped, which was Mega Man 2. And it's so good, Steve. Like, seriously, you need to link some of that shit in the episode post, because it is amazing. I saw them perform in concert at MagFest 2012. They did a cover song of Send Me an Angel.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it was done by Night Ranger, but I'm pretty sure I'm wrong on that one. I think I'm thinking Sister Christian, but anyway. It brought tears in my eyes because it was so cool. Like, seriously, check that shit out. Mega Man Forever. That reminds me, this weekend, you know what we're not talking about, but we probably should?
What?
PAX.
See, I'm not too familiar with what happened there.
Well, it's happening literally as we're recording this. It's day 0. Day 1 officially begins today, or Friday. And it goes right through until Monday. I guess that's the advantage of having it on a long weekend, I guess. But still, goddamn, if this thing don't look cool this year. There's a lot of D&D stuff going on this year, which is sort of my bag. I know the community manager, Greg Tito, I can't remember. He's going to kill me because I know him. They're doing this really awesome thing. I think it's on Sunday morning in the main hall. They're debuting this thing called D&D The Sword Coast. And it's like you can create a D&D style adventure, like actually D&D, but do it like you're actually at the table with monsters, design your own dungeon and all that shit. And they're going to take suggestions from the audience. So I'm curious to know how ludicrously stupid this is going to get. Like, you're a first level character, here's a beholder, good luck. So shit with an armor class so high you couldn't even hope to hit it. Like, there's so many cool events going on. There's also this Women in Designing RPGs panel I want to listen to. And I love the fact that services like Twitch and YouTube stream this stuff. So I'm actually going to get up at like 10 o'clock tomorrow morning and listen to some of these panels. Because for me, I miss going to conventions like this. And I'm hoping to make my grand return in 2016 with my new set of wheels. And hopefully just get a chance to experience this stuff. And I'm jealous of anybody who goes to PAX Prime, because that's the big one. That's where all the really cool shit comes out, and all game developers show off their latest hardware. I'm sure there'll be Assassin's Creed there this weekend. There'll be stuff for like Rainbow Six Siege. There'll probably be stuff for Call of Duty. Like, it's going to be it's a fantastic nerd convention, and the amount of swag you get, Steve, you can bring a garbage bag every day on the floor and guaranteed you'll fill it with free shit.
See, I would go to a lot of these conventions just out of pure interest and wanting to experience them. If I could get there for free, like, but there's no way.
Yeah, it's tough. It's been tough to get there when you have to go on your own dime. I've actually been very fortunate. I used to have a convention pay me to go to PAX to analyze what they were doing with their programming and how their security worked and all that stuff. And it was a really sweet gig for like 2 years to have them pay for my hotel and my travel to go out there. But I hear you. It'd be nice to go back.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to do a lot of these type conventions though, just in general. But it's such a
for one,
it's expensive, but they're also across the country. So like, there's no way in hell like I could get over there unless I had it, was invited and had a free of charge way of getting there. I mean,
well, PAX East is pretty close to you, and that's only in Boston.
Yeah, it's still a ways away for me.
I mean, ultimately, dude, the most expensive thing you'll run into, it's the hotel room. You just gotta get people to split it with you.
Well, I mean, like, when I went to BotCon, I mean, the hotel was the most expensive part.
Yeah. Although, with going to events like PAX now, it's like San Diego Comic-Con. It sells out within, like, an hour. and it's nuts. But this is a topic we beat to death before on this show.
True.
But still, I will find a way to get you to one of these events. Because, Steve, I'm going to make you a star, man. I promise you that. I'm going to make you a star. Okay, so what do we want to talk about this week, man?
Maybe we should talk about the new Star Wars trailer.
The whole 15 seconds that
the
says
whole
nothing
teaser.
but looks awesome?
Yeah, it says nothing that we haven't heard, and then you see...
the black guy with the lightsaber.
Yeah, the black stormtrooper guy with the Luke's old, Anakin's lightsaber.
Which is weird, because that lightsaber was lost, but they do explain it in the books, which no longer exist anymore.
Well, funny you should say that. They have, for pre-order, a new set of books that takes place between 6 and 7. And it's a series, I think there's like 3 or 4 books that takes place in between there that they're going to release starting in September. And it's going to bridge the gap more so. And then they've even got one book that takes place between 5 and 6 that explains some of Luke's transformation and, between...
So they're going to get rid of what happened in Shadows of the Empire.
It kind of, but it's going to more so actually bridge the gap. And explain things as best it can, because it's,
I'm excited for that. At the same time, Shadows of the Empire was at least well written. Now, actually, speaking of Star Wars, I just want to touch upon this for a minute. I got an invite today from Hasbro, and this is the weirdest invite I've ever gotten. So they want to bring me out to the Toronto Convention Center, because Fan Expo is next weekend, which is, a fairly big deal for us up here in Canada. But they're doing it on, I want to say Thursday or Friday morning. I can't remember which. I want to say Thursday. Actually, you know what? Let me pull up the email, because it's so ridiculous as that I might go just for the lols.
See, one year I may actually go to FanX up there.
No. Bad, Steve.
Bad?
Don't spend your money there. No, bad.
Really?
Bad,
Is that
Steve.
bad?
Bad, Steve. You would get so much more out of going to a different event. Basically, you want to go to Fan Expo, you're taking out a second mortgage on your house.
Oh, it's like going to San Diego Comic-Con. Okay.
Yeah, virtually. It's like a discount San Diego Comic-Con, except we say nothing. Anyway, so get this. So I'm going to read you part of the email because it's so ridiculous. I wanted to invite you to a one-of-a-kind Star Wars The Force Awakens unboxing event to kick off Fan Expo here in Toronto next week. The brand new Star Wars The Force Awakens merchandise will be available on shelves as of midnight on Friday, September 4th, aka #Force Friday. In advance, the never-before-seen SKUs, or the SKUs, are set to be unveiled in the world's first ever global live toy unboxing event, spanning from Sydney to San Francisco, and on Thursday, September 3rd at 9 a.m., we will be unveiling them live in Toronto at the John Bassett Theatre in the Metro Toronto Convention Center. Canadian YouTuber Corey Vidal, will be hosting, and Martin Glaude, Quill18, YouTube, whatever, will be performing the live unboxing. Disney will be streaming the reveal live for 18 consecutive hours on the Star Wars YouTube channel, and fans are invited to sit in on the live Toronto action. I like this idea simply because they're making an event of an unboxing video. I mean, just saying that out loud, I don't know whether to find that really inventive or really stupid. Now,
I'm kind of stuck in between. I don't know.
Because I want to go to this, but do I want to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, because I'm going to have to get up that early to beat the traffic, find parking, wheelchair my ass inside to watch two YouTube assholes unbox toys? Now, if I was the unboxing asshole, I would be saying a much different tune. But it's just, that's nuts. And I'm surprised how much secrecy is shrouded with all these figures, because we've already seen leaks on eBay happen. We've seen some of the toys revealed via other websites. Now, admittedly, I want to get the Star Wars Black Series and that Clone Trooper Nerf gun.
Well, I mean, I've seen all the images of the ones that they've shown so far, plus not to mention the Episode 5 Vader and Luke Skywalker figures that are miraculously coming out with The Force Awakens, which tells me there's a flashback scene. But I mean, I don't know how much I actually care about a toy unboxing. Like, I don't even watch videos of toy reviews because I find them to be, and I don't knock anybody that does them. I don't care for them personally. I think that I just rather look at the picture on the Twitter thing going across my feed, and then that's it. I really don't care.
The only toy unboxing and toy review I'll watch Spada's stuff the odd time, and I'll watch a guy called Pixel Dan. And I don't care about what the packaging looks like. I just want to see the final product with all the stickers applied, with all the parts done there. That's what I want to see. And ultimately, you can cover that in about 3.5 minutes. And I don't know. It seems like so odd because presumably they're renting this theater in the Metro Toronto Convention Center for FanX, and it seems a little nuts to do this just 24 hours before the toys come out. And I don't know how the hell I'm going to do this because I want some of these toys, but I've talked this over with my wife. I only really want to get the Stormtroopers and that Clone Trooper blaster, maybe the Bowcaster, maybe. Because the last time I was in the Star Wars toys, I had everything from Revenge of the Sith. I even had the imports. That got expensive and stupid right towards the end of it, and I sold my collection for way less than what I should have. But I digress. So anyway, enough about toys. Back to the Force thing. Yeah, I do like how they're letting trickles of information out, but I think they're letting it out a little too often. Honestly, give me another 2.5 minute teaser, and that's it. Give me the final trailer as it were. Because we're 3 months out. Now's the time to start showing me that 2.5 minute trailer that really details the action. Or give me 2 minutes. Or, you know what? Show me the opening crawl. And 1 minute past that, and I'm okay. That's what I want Disney to put out. Because having 15 seconds and seeing the black guy with Luke's lightsaber, that's cool, but I want some context. And I'm pretty sure he's going to be fighting Kylo Ren, who they revealed this week is not a Sith.
No, they revealed that he's from the House of Ren, and he works for the First
Snoke
Order
or something?
guy. Yeah, Snoke.
Or no, Master Commander Snoke or something.
Yeah, who's also above the other guy that looks imperialistic and whatever.
Yeah, because it just turns out the First Order are just Empire fanboys. They're truthfully the galaxy's first cosplayers. And it's just them. I kind of wonder if they're just using the Imperial Remnants technology, because they've obviously got access to Star Destroyers, they've got TIE fighters, new Stormtroopers and whatnot, so
well, they love their Empire.
Well, here's the thing, though. I really hope J.J. Abrams is somehow able to avoid the trap of the super weapon with this, right? I don't want them to this just to be, they have yet another super weapon. It's like the Death Star, but cooler. Or, like, in the expanded universe before it doesn't exist anymore, there used to be a weapon called the Sun Crusher.
Is that the other one that was kind of like the Death Star?
Yeah, except it could destroy solar systems.
Yeah.
It would fire this photonic resonance torpedo or something like that into the heart of a sun, and it would go, like, nuclear in, like, an hour. And I'm just thinking, okay, as much as I'd love to see the Sun Crusher on screen, because there's that part of that me that loves that Kevin J. Anderson series, no, you can do so much more. And I want Kylo Ren to be interesting, although I've so got the feeling he's either going to be Han and Leia's kid or he's Luke's kid, one or the other.
I think it's going to be Han and Leia's.
Yeah, it's going to be something like that. And you know what sucks, too, because in the
Luke
expanded
won't
universe,
let me be a Jedi, so I'm going to go bad.
well, even in the books, there was Jason, Janna, and Anakin Solo. Anakin Solo becomes a bad guy. Darth fuck you uppercuts or something. I don't know. They kill him. And then, I don't know. I want them to avoid the tropes we've seen before. But then again, I'm afraid of the unknown. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I'm afraid what they're going to do with this. So, mind you, once again, everything I've seen at least looks really fucking cool. Like, I love the look of the First Order Stormtroopers. I love the look of the Flame Trooper. Kylo Ren looks pretty badass. So, I can't say I'm not excited, because I am. And I'm going to be there opening night, because it's Star Wars, and I've got my FX lightsabers coming out my ass, so...
I'm definitely thinking about...
to pull those out once in a while.
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking about being there on opening.
Well, we have to. It's a cultural thing. It's our responsibility as nerds. I mean, this isn't the Avengers Age of Ultron. This is Star Wars. This is a new Star Wars nobody has seen before. I mean, and this is a story we also don't know. Whereas episode 1, 2, 3, we kind of had an idea, but here, this is all new territory. So, who's to say? But there's
Nobody
also,
knows.
But there's also other Star Wars news to come out this week as well.
Yeah, how J.J. Abrams said that basically this First Order is like a Nazi tribe.
Yeah, which I can't say I'm totally surprised, because George Lucas, you can see where he got the idea for the Empire. They're just better equipped Nazis. And not entirely nice guys either.
Well,
I mean, hell.
He was basically equating it to the fact that even so much as like last week they found a sect of Nazis in like Argentina or something like that.
That doesn't surprise me, because that's where a lot of former war criminals ran to.
Yeah, I mean, and they said that it's kind of paralleling that. Basically, the First Order is what's left over of the Empire kind of coming back out of nowhere and taking charge, And
Now, if I had to see anything come out of this, I would love to see them bring a character, once again, out of the EU, Grand Admiral Thrawn.
That would be interesting.
I would love to see Thrawn on screen, which will probably never happen now, but still, that would be awesome if it was.
I would like to see clone Palpatine.
You know what's funny? I think that would make a really kick-ass anime, or a really awesome or a really awesome special for Rebels or something.
Well, I think the clone Palpatine, because it happened in Shadow of the Empire in the comics, or not Shadow of the Empire, Dark Empire.
Yeah, but so yeah, you're thinking Dark Empire.
Because Luke goes dark side in that. And in the process, what happens is Palpatine wants to embody Han and Leia's newborn son's body for his own. Wants to transfer his consciousness into it, and one of his Red Guard does it instead and dies, but forever killing Palpatine. But in that, it's kind of interesting because he's having to body hop to different clones because they're imperfect. So
and they can't hold. Yeah, they can't hold his essence or whatever.
Yeah, it can't hold his essence. So I mean, I think that would be an interesting twist if he was like somehow like still running the machinations in the background.
I would like to see them do something like that, or if anything, you know how they have the DC animated series stuff?
Yeah.
If they could do spin-off Star Wars movies and just do some of the old comic books. Like Dark Empire would be an awesome two-parter. Or The Courtship of Princess Leia. Or whatever. But I know I'm probably in the minority of loving the old... My wife is dying, I think. She's shooting me a look and she's saying she can't do anything or laundry. She's dying.
I'm tired.
Are you dying?
I'm dying.
My wife is dying. Just so you know. Anyway. See, I really wish they'd done that when they had the chance, because now it doesn't make any sense. Oh, God, you're sweaty. Don't touch me. Ew.
But, like, kind of jumping on the other side of the Star Wars fence, they're talking for Rogue One, resurrecting Peter Cushing as Tarkin. Because they want
That's
to
a tough
like,
pill to swallow.
well, they're gonna motion capture somebody else playing Tarkin, and then they're gonna have somebody else do the voice of Tarkin, and then they're gonna put the original Tarkin's body over top of. I can't see that like being plausible. I understand it. Don't get me wrong. I understand why they want Tarkin because, he's a remnant from the old Imperial.
Well, that and he helped design.
Well, and he helped design it, and he was pretty much like Palpatine's kind of right hand, at designing everything and getting the Death Star, and kind of, his basically Senate influence instead of like the Sith influence of Vader. So I mean, he had his other right hand man, and that's he's a very strong character. So I see why they want to do that. It's just I don't like the idea of resurrecting somebody that's already passed.
I don't know. I don't have so much a problem with it. The second it looks fake, it breaks it. It can't look. It has to be perfect. As in, you better be dumping $1 billion into making this look right. Because if you don't, the second that looks cheesy, people are going to start laughing, and it's going to look dumb. And I realize I'm talking about a movie with walking carpets and little robots that go beep beep beep, but you know what I mean? It's the second it looks stupid. Like, it has to be as good as the motion capture performance out of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, or it has to look as good as when they inserted, if not better, way back when they had Forrest Gump meet fucking JFK. It has to look good.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. As long as he's not like a huge character in it, because Rogue One should focus on the rebels trying to get this as opposed to the Imperial side. I don't know, man. I want to see some test footage.
Yeah, I kind of want to see how that plays out because, like, I'm not real keen on it, and people already know my opinion of Star Wars Rogue One. I don't really care about any of these separate films, but I just everything surrounding that film just kind of bothers me. Until I physically see something, I'm not gonna like really change my tune.
I like the idea. I love the idea, to be honest.
I mean, I like the idea, but I mean, I just don't see it plausible and or a reason to do it. But
yes, we'll sort of see what happens when all's said and done.
yes. So, anyways, jumping into a different movie topic, rumor has it Nintendo is going to resurrect the movie franchises now that because of Wreck-It Ralph and they had Bowser in it.
Well, it makes sense because if Nintendo gets the right people behind the right projects, these could be fucking phenomenal. Like, Jesus, man, do you know how awesome a Metroid movie would be?
Well, I mean,
Someone big behind it?
Well, I mean, they've had all these like animated TV series back in the early '90s, late '80s, and yeah, they were good for the time. They're batshit terrible now, but I mean,
But they have had success with more recent ones. Like there was Kirby's Right Back at You, which was really good.
But I mean, like
F-Zero GX.
But I mean, a lot of the storylines that they've got in the games even would work to some degree. That actually have storylines. That is not just the side-scrolling crap. But
you could honestly make a TV series out of Super Smash Brothers if you were smart.
That's what I would do. Because at least then you've got a big palette and you don't necessarily have to cover the same characters every episode.
What I would do if I had the
Pokemon
money...
Nintendo.
Like, here's something that they could do really, really, really easy. If they wanted to invest in not just movies, but do TV, you make a live-action Metroid and a live-action Castlevania. If you had live-action Castlevania with, like, I don't know, I guess, like, on HBO or something, if you could have Game of Thrones level violence, but it's Castlevania, but I guess that's a Konami property, and well, fuck them. But anyway, if you could have a Metroid series, put money behind it, put it on a good network, you could have an amazing sci-fi show. I mean, because realistically, the only real monsters she runs into are Metroids, the occasional space pirate, which is nothing you haven't seen before on Star Trek or, I don't know, whatever. But you could focus on the federation that she works for. You could focus on the Chozo, the people who helped make her this ultimate badass bounty hunter, or a Zelda TV show, aim it towards young adults. And like it's not like Link fights fucking Lord of the Rings creatures every week. Or if you made a Legend of Zelda movie, I don't think following one of the games would be a smart idea. Because trying to adapt something like, say, Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask, you're going to have to cut something to make it fit an hour and a half to 2 hours worth of screen time. But if you told an original Zelda tale and then adapted that into a game, that could work.
Well, even if they brought them all as animated series and put them on Netflix, I mean, because we're even seeing resurgence of like Inspector Gadget and shows like that on Netflix, and they're not half bad.
Yeah, I mean, Netflix Animation, they have their own anime series on it. It's called Knights of Sidonia or something. My friends tell me it's quite good, and I'm willing to believe them. I know they've got original animation with BoJack Horseman, and I did the Turbo animated series, and for what it wasn't terrible. And BoJack Horseman's really, really funny. So there's no reason for Nintendo not to take this risk, or alternatively work with like Disney, because they already have the Disney Infinity stuff and whatnot. Like, do something spectacular with them. I know there's going to be Nintendo theme parks in the next couple of years. So they stand on a very interesting point in their company's history where they can really make Nintendo a super household name again. Because as much a success as the Wii U's had, people think of Nintendo now as more or less the big franchises, Pokemon, and the 3DS. That's it. As far as a home console, you've got your hardcore dedicated loyalists, but they're not selling numbers like PlayStation 4s or even Xbox One.
Well, I was also reading that they're coming out with a new... they patented a new game console that has no optical drive.
Yeah, the NX or whatever they're calling it.
Yeah, which, I don't know. I'll wait until I hear more about it, but... the only reason I buy a Nintendo system is because I like Smash Brothers, I like Mario Brothers, and I like Donkey Kong. And those are really the only reasons I buy a Nintendo console anymore. I don't have the Wii U. I would get one, except I don't want to have to shell out $200 for that and then another $60 per game. So I'm waiting until I can get it like used for $50 in a couple years. And then I'll pick up all the games, which will still be pretty much full prich.
Well,
I have my Wii.
That's something I've always found really interesting. Nintendo games very rarely go down in price because they're 9 out of 10. They're fantastic. They retain their value. One of my
There's
friends,
a large amount of replayability though with the Nintendo games, especially when it's like Mario or any property that has Mario in it. The price never goes down. Mario Party, Mario All Stars, Super Smash Brothers. Like even now, you still pay $30 for the one on the Melee.
Actually, that price has gone up, depending, because a friend of mine sells retro video games, and people will pay top dollar for Mario Party, Mario Kart, stuff like that. The Nintendo games retain their value because they're just that well made. And with, even Smash Brothers Brawl, you're looking to pay at least $50-$60 still.
I still have the game.
Maybe drop $10 off it if you buy it used, maybe.
I love Brawl, but I wish I could get the new one, but I don't have a Wii U. So
I haven't played the new one in months, and that's even with the new DLC with like Lucas and Ryu and all them. And I play it although I do play it on my 3DS a fair chunk, just because it's portable.
Yeah, I've played it on that, but that's about it.
But yeah, I mean, I hope Nintendo takes this opportunity. If they're going to do Mario Brothers as a movie, do it big budget animated.
Yeah, screw the live action for video game stuff.
Unless it's something like Zelda or Metroid.
Something that legitimately could have a plausible live action.
know what might work in live action, but you may have to adapt it so it's not as goofy? You could pull off F-Zero. If you could bring in someone who's done Fast and the Furious, that type of director who understands how speed works and how to create a really awesome car chase, I would so watch an F-Zero movie. Or if you could maybe, I don't know, take one of their... Man, you know what would be the most amazing movie and you worked with Jim Henson Studios?
What?
Star Fox. You make that with Jim Henson Studios and you make it live action with puppets, you will have a movie, I promise you, that will clear box office records in its first weekend. Because it will look amazing. It's from a Nintendo franchise a lot of people remember, and it'll be unlike anything we've seen before. It'll be a Muppet action movie. Sure, we've seen the Muppets in space and on pirate ships in the 90s. And we had the Muppets movie from a couple years ago, and even the one I think it was like last year or the year before last. But you've never seen Muppets dogfighting or using laser guns. That could be fucking so cool.
I'm going to make a prediction, and this is way off left field, and it has to do with Nintendo. I'm going to predict within the next 5 to 10 years, Disney buys them.
I could see Disney definitely putting a stake in them. Because they should.
And the only reason I say that is because predominantly a lot of the Disney-related stuff has either been on like Xbox or the Wii, or Nintendo products. And the other thing is, I mean, we're already getting the sprinkle of Nintendo in Disney films. You know, with Bowser is like the kind of test play around thing. I'm predicting that because there's been little sprinkles of other stuff that they've ended up buying up. Like they bought the Muppets, they bought Lucasfilm, which I predicted that before it happened. I'm guessing that because Nintendo, honestly, in this day and age, doesn't have an effing clue what they're doing as far as the game consoles, because PlayStation and Xbox are taking new technology and running with it.
See,
and they're running hard.
I don't know whether I totally agree with you on that, simply because when it comes to Nintendo's board of directors, I think you may be right, but when it comes to someone, it's going to drive me nuts, the guy who passed away this year, it wasn't Miyamoto, it was the other guy. Fuck, it's going to drive me crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, when the president of Nintendo had passed away, Iwata, that's it, Iwata.
Yeah, that guy had vision, but...
Yeah, he got it. But he wasn't the one making all the decisions. Mind you, that's the guy who took a pay cut so other people wouldn't have to. And I think I don't think you'd ever see a Japanese company like that sell out to an American corporation, because I think it comes down to corporate culture and just the culture of we bow to no white man, or we run ourselves, so to speak. Because if you look at what's going on with Konami and their treating of their employees right now, I imagine Nintendo is nowhere near as toxic a work environment, but I could see them being very prideful and saying, no, we're not going to sell, we'll do it ourselves. But you're right, though. I think if Disney and Nintendo could get working together, if they could produce...
Well, it would help. It could only benefit Nintendo at this point.
Well, yeah, because like if you could make a movie on the level of Wreck-It Ralph with Mario, and have like Yoshi, Bowser, all the Koopa kids, and all the crazy shit we've expected, and have Charles Martinet, the voice of Mario, do it, you could have something completely amazing. Fucking, you could cast, I don't know, whoever the hell else you want as like Princess Peach, Bowser, and whoever, because they really don't have established voice actors, or at least ones you give a flying fuck about. But you recast Mario as someone famous, and people are going to be pissed. You leave it as the original Charles Martinet, and as long as he's not a complete moron, that movie could be really, really, really fun. So, yeah, Nintendo's got nothing to lose by working with established series like Disney or Pixar. I mean, working with Sony didn't work out so well with them recently, because Pixels was fucking stupid.
Well...
and I don't know why they'd license fucking Donkey Kong for that.
I forgot that Donkey Kong was in that. I don't know.
Makes you want to piss blood. I'm so mad.
Well, I think I don't really know because I wasn't that. No, that was old Nintendo. Like I was thinking Rare because Microsoft owns Rare, which has the Donkey Kong Country games.
Yes.
So I wasn't sure if Nintendo still owned the stakes totally in that, but yeah, they do. But I mean, so okay, that's two instances recently. You know, Wreck-It Ralph and Donkey Kong, and Sony. I don't know why Nintendo would let Sony touch that.
And you see, it's not like video game movies have to suck. And because recently, here's a great example of how not to fucking make something. There's a movie opened up last week, and it was Hitman Agent 47. This is the second time making a Hitman movie. First one with Timothy Olyphant, and and then this one has Zachary Quinto and some other asswipe. Oh, excuse me. And this movie, how do you fuck up a simple premise like Hitman? Somehow, you do. And yet, you look at the stuff coming out of the Assassin's Creed movie, as of today, they released the first official image of Michael Fassbender in his Assassin's garb, and he looks fantastic. I think Assassin's Creed is going to be the first video game movie to legit break the cycle of shit video game movies. Nintendo should be jumping on this with all cylinders firing and make the first legit video game movie based on a property that isn't rated like M or something. Because it'll be years before we see Mass Effect. It will be a decade before we see Halo, because that's been coming and going for so many years. Now, we've had Halo TV series, if you count Halo Nightfall, and Halo Forward Unto Dawn. But Nintendo has everything to gain here. Like I said, do Mario, do Metroid, do Zelda. Hell, bring back Donkey Kong again. I mean, the Donkey Kong Country TV series was pretty friggin' stupid, but if you did that today, yeah. Or like you and I were saying, do a Smash Brothers cartoon. Make it for one season, see how it does. Put it on Disney, see how it does. I promise you, you want to sell toys? That will work.
Yeah, definitely.
Because there's that world of Nintendo line. Man, if you put a TV series with Smash Brothers on the cover and those toys are being sold, those toy shelves would be empty within a day. Because people would know about it. And all the Nintendo figures that are available now are collector grade, which means they're not prohibitively expensive, but they're not meant for hardcore play. Mind you, kids today are a little bit more sophisticated than we were, but still, like there's no reason for them not to want to print money. That's what I want to ask Nintendo. Why do you not want to make money? What are you afraid of? Do you want me to drop this check for $1 billion into your bank account, yes or no? Please, Nintendo, take my money. I'm giving it to you. Beat the shit out of you if you don't make a fucking Metroid TV series. Anyway, I'm done.
So, now that we're off that soapbox, maybe we should talk.
I feel like I need a drink and a smoke after that.
Yeah. Well, YouTube is trying to kill Twitch.
I like this idea. I really do. A friend of mine is in the esports scene, and he does it offers a lot of interesting incentives. Although, if you're a Twitch partner and you stream on YouTube, you have to give up your partnership. However, you can create in-stream highlights while it's happening. The UI is kind of ugly, but the chat's okay. I think there's some moderation tools they need. But it's not a bad idea. I'm waiting for this YouTube app to come to Xbox and PlayStation, because that's how I stream, is using those applications. But I do like the idea of what it's going to give gamers, because I've seen a lot of my YouTube friends use it. And I think Twitch is honestly going to have some competition, because YouTube is a much bigger name. And it will depend on who carries certain esports, because Call of Duty is exclusively MLG mostly, or all the big streamers are. Twitch carries a lot of the big tournaments, and they also do stuff like Heroes of the Storm, League of Legends, etc., Hearthstone. YouTube can open up so many doors, and with Call of Duty Black Ops 3 coming out in a few months, and with new expansions for a bunch of other games happening right now, YouTube, if they make their program and their incentives to monetize really, really well, then Twitch could be in some serious fucking trouble.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going to happen in that. I mean, I've never used. I mean, I'll just say it right now, I've never used Twitch. I've thought about doing it. I've thought about playing games, but like at the same time, unless you're like really big into the gaming industry kind of thing, nobody really watches it, as far as I can tell.
I don't know. You would be honestly surprised because esports is a huge thing now.
Like, I honestly don't know if anybody would actually like spend the time to watch me playing a game online.
Well, that's the thing. You have to be entertaining while it's happening.
True.
You can't just be, I am playing Pac-Man. Man, a ghost just ate me. Oh, fuck. You have to be more interesting than that. Or you have to be really good from a competitive scene. Like, I myself, when I stream things, I usually do it for, like, a children's charity, which I really need to get my Extra Life thing set up this year as a reminder. Like, last year I streamed for 24 hours straight, and I showed off Titanfall, and I did both seasons of The Walking Dead video game by, like, Telltale, and I had the audience help me decide what I was going to do. Or if I could stream a game like Mass Effect. Like, all right, guys, Paragon or Renegade, what are we going to do? And I don't know, because the game playing audience out there is huge. I mean, there was a thing, I think it was last summer, it was Twitch Plays Pokemon, and they managed to beat the Elite Four gym leaders. There was also one that just came out recently. It was Twitch Plays Dark Souls, and they were able to beat the first boss, which is evidently a thing. So the audience is there for casual. Fuck, man, there's always someone building Minecraft and people watching that, or competitive Street Fighter, or like I said, Hearthstone, or League of Legends stuff. So if YouTube can get the right UI, get the right partnerships for monetization, and have more tools at your disposal across whatever platform, be it PC, Xbox, or PlayStation, and have those in place, you could do so much with this. And I would love to see YouTube do better than Twitch, because YouTube takes up a lot less computing power than Twitch. If I watch a Twitch stream on my computer, it'll crash probably like an hour into it, and I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because I'm using Firefox. But if you could find a way for YouTube to work perfectly with this type of stuff, it opens up a lot of doors, and there's a lot of money to be made here too. A lot of money. So it's in YouTube's best interest to kick the shit out of them. Start poaching developers if you have to. I like video games.
I think I'm just old. I'm so
Jesus
out of
Christ,
touch.
Steve, get with it.
Well, I'm so out of touch with some of that shit. Like I keep getting interested in wanting to do like YouTube stuff or video content, and then I get stuck on the concept, and I never actually go into doing it because I'm like, do people actually give a shit like what I have to say like on some of that? Like, because I mean, I'm interested in doing it. It's just coming up with a creative way of doing it that people care. Which is the key point. I mean, I would do it for myself
because it's a lot of work,
and I don't mind the work because like I've kind of fizzled out on doing some of the excessive podcasts I normally do anyway. So to me, it's not about the work, because I can legitimately edit it in probably about an hour, and then getting the export and then getting it to schedule to upload. So that's not my dilemma. My dilemma is finding something to keep entertaining and kind of find that right length of show, which I would have to keep it under like 5 minutes to keep attention spans. But I don't know. I mean, I've been kind of, that's originally how this show started, was a YouTube video thing. And I fizzled out 2 episodes in, and then, or 3 episodes in, and then kind of went from there to doing the podcast because it's easier to do audio than video.
Hey, honestly, Steve, if I could sit at my computer and just have us record the Skype call and maybe have a video window in the middle showing what we're talking about, I would totally be down for that. But once again, video production is a lot of work. And right now I'm sitting in my living room in my pajamas, and I'm not sure our audience necessarily wants to see a fat guy hanging out on a chair, petting a cat while he does a podcast.
Hey, that's what
you
I'm
may
doing.
do. But I totally hear you, though. I mean, the thing with video, you got to have a vision, and you got to know what you want to produce. You just can't do it on the fly. That's why I love podcasting. I can just talk and go. I am talk radio. That is what I know. That is what I'm trained in. Video, it's never going to be my thing. Even streaming, I do my best to stay funny, but I don't do it a lot because I'm a competitive player for Call of Duty and Titanfall and shit like that, basically first-person shooters. I hate looking like shit, so I get frustrated and I get really quiet because I'm basically putting on my like fucking tryhard panties, and I get really upset when I lose. So,
see, I would be very boring as far as playing a video game on a stream, because I'm one of those guys, like, because even when I'm on, because when I play Battlefield, for instance, I'm still learning what the damn keyboard, like, some of the shortcuts are. And then I'm also, mind you, I have my dual monitor, so I'm playing the game in one, and I have, like, either Twitter kind of rolling through on the other screen, or I have the TeamSpeak running. And they're all talking shit, and I'm listening in the background, and they're like, geez, Steve, shut up, because I zone out. I start getting right into the game, and I forget to talk. So, I don't know. I think I'd be very, very boring as far as the gaming side of it. But, like, the YouTube part of just doing videos, I'm going to try and get into some of those and try and do some, like, top 5s, or do some, just various things that wouldn't necessarily work in the podcast. But I'm again, that's just, it's one of those things that eventually I hope to get to it, but that's way off the topic of Twitch and YouTube.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, Steve, you and I should talk about doing some video game stuff, but you need to get yourself a next-gen console before we can do that.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll figure it out. Guys, donation drive. Get Steve an Xbox.
That would be great.
You know what, Steve? I will make this promise on air. Your listeners can hold me accountable. If I happen to win another Xbox One this year, it is yours.
Sweet.
The odds of me winning it are actually pretty good. Actually,
really?
I have a system, and it's tragically sad how I know how to game the system. I'll see what I can do.
That would be awesome.
So if I get you an Xbox One, you run my website for life, right?
Yeah.
All right,
much.
fucking that. That is the mission, guys. Help Steve get an Xbox. PayPal address is no. We'll talk later. So, moving on.
I guess we could take a quick break and then come back with the comments and then close it out.
All right, let's go.
All right, we'll be right back. Want to interact with the show? You can contact us in the following ways. You can call the voicemail line, 502-526-5821. You can email us, feedback@geekcastradio.com. You can visit the episode post on geekcastradio.com or alteredgeek.com. You can get a hold of us on Twitter @alteredgeek. Look for us every week on geekcastradio.com, of course, Stitcher Smart Radio, iTunes, Blog Talk Radio, and alteredgeek.com. And now, back to the show. And we're back. So yes, we'll get to the comments, which there was only 3 last week, which, not bad. And it was, funny enough, on our presidential cabinet. Dalton says, I would make Charles Xavier the president.
I can see that. All right.
Tony
Mind
Stark.
reading and mind control.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that would be awesome. He would control everyone. He would always get along with all of the different countries. He could manipulate their minds and make them do what he wants. Tony Stark is the Secretary of Defense.
Fair enough. He was a very effective leader during Civil War, depending on what side of that you fell on.
Captain America, Vice President.
We keep him accountable. Okay, yeah.
And then this one's, he says, for some strange reason, Optimus Prime is the Secretary of Agriculture.
Why the hell not?
Prime will pull your seeds across the field.
Keeping the Midwest safe from the Decepticon menace.
There will be no... He'll come up. There will be no Dust Bowl in my town. And then Haley Bailey says, I would make a presidential cabinet out of Muppets. Kermit
I would love to see that. Just the entire Congress, nothing but Muppets.
That would be hilarious, actually. That should be their next movie.
That'd be awesome. Oh my god, that'd be so good. Yeah, fuck going to Russia. I want to see fucking vote Kermit on your fucking 2016. Fuck Hillary Clinton, man. I want Kermit the Frog.
That's better than D's nuts.
No, oh my god. There was something I saw. This was on Facebook this past week. You know how Cards Against Humanity?
Mm-hmm.
There's one card that says, in the future, historians will look back and blank will signal the decline of America. The white card was literally D's nuts. And I've seen that combination happen before in real life. I'm thinking, wow, that's really predicting the future.
That's sad.
Fucked up, dude.
So she had Kermit as the president, Miss Piggy as first lady, Fozzie as vice president, Gonzo head of science, Animal something super official like the EPA.
No, he's got to be the fucking press secretary. Some shit like that.
He'll be their he'll be the roadie.
Your speakers of the House have to be, or the leaders of the opposition or whatever have to be Stadler and Waldorf.
That would be awesome.
One of them's a Republican, one of them's the fucking Democrat. That'd be amazing. As if your country wasn't screwed up enough, this could only improve it.
Why are we here? I haven't figured that out either.
So, in essence, nothing will change, just how they look.
That would be hilarious. I don't know. I think those are actually pretty solid ideas right there.
Make that shit happen, Jim Henson. You heard it here. For president.
Haven't you heard? He's not around anymore. They got to contact Disney now.
Unfreeze Walt Disney. Ask him a question.
Funny thing is almost all of these would be completely doable because they're all owned by Disney except for Optimus Prime.
See? Make this shit happen, guys.
The only reason I thought about the thing with Jim Henson is because I watched the epic rap battles of history with where they had the one guy as Stan Lee and the other one as Jim Henson. They're like, nobody can mess with what we left behind, and then they did Walt Disney. He's like, I didn't buy you for billions, and then shows like every, like on their closing out, show every company they bought up. They even own that series, which is funny. Yeah, so I mean, I was going to talk about something with season 2 of The Flash, but I'll just throw it in the comments and it'll be a nice point to touch on next week. Are there too many speedsters in season 2 of The Flash?
Yes.
Because they've got Barry Allen, they got Wally West, they got Jay Garrick, Professor Zoom. I'm only guessing that Eobard Thawne's going to return. And then Jesse Quick was just cast. So you put that in there, you've got 6 speedsters. I really think that's overkill, but time will tell.
Unless they can figure some way to keep it creatively fresh, I don't know. That's a little bit of overkill.
Yeah, they'll just shoot the rest of the series in slow motion, and everybody else will be just moving extremely slow, except for those 6.
I still need to finish season 1 of The Flash, but I should have my copy of the season 1 Blu-ray here on like Monday. So
Yeah, so should I.
I guess I'll power through it then.
Yeah, do a review. Um, and then the other question I had: what are some video game series you'd like to see get the feature film or animated series treatment that have not gotten one yet?
Mass Effect, Metal Gear Solid.
I think Mass Effect's like number 1 on my list, but that's because
Yeah.
I enjoyed the story so much.
Assassin's Creed is happening, so I guess I can't include that one.
Yeah,
I'd like
Michael
to see-
Fassbender.
I'd like to see something with the Elder Scrolls. Like, I love Skyrim, and I love the world there, so I'd love to see something with that.
Diablo 3.
Diablo might actually not be a half-bad TV series if you just took it really slow.
Because I mean, you could have the different skill sets, kind of like an HBO series.
Video game. I'm trying to think of other things. I'd like to see. He said game or whatever, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much any game.
I'd like to see Dungeons and Dragons get another shot at TV because there was the animated series in the 80s. I think you can make a really interesting kids show out of that and not talk down to. I think you could really do if you made it like rated T for teen, or do it like a live action sort of like in the style of the Adventures of Hercules or Xena. D&D would be fucking awesome, or like Pathfinder. If I could name one more series, let me see. I'm really thinking here. There was something I saw, and it was something. It was meant as a tribute, but I love the style of it. Someone created an intro in the style of Gravity Falls, one for Doctor Who. And there was always talk of a Doctor Who animated series, but it never happened. So I'd love to see that. Or if you look up Buffy the Animated Series on YouTube, you'll see like a 5-minute clip. And it was never produced, but that would have been awesome too.
I would like to see a Mega Man X cartoon.
Yep. But before it got stupid, so pre-4.
Yeah. 8 was pretty good too. Like X1 through 4 and then 8 were actually really good. 5 through 7 were dog shit.
8 isn't the one where it had fucking Axel in it, was it?
It was, but it worked. He was supposed to be this new breed of Reploid, and then they had this new villain that was basically using Sigma as a puppet. That Sigma had infected, or they used Sigma as the basis to build these new Reploids, which was just asinine.
I thought of something really cool, but it would only work as a mini-series. Watch Dogs.
See, I've never played that, but
That game, it had so many cool ideas. If you did that as like a 5-episode miniseries on like AMC or HBO, it could be fucking awesome. I love that game, even though everybody else hated it. I thought it was great. But yeah, those are my answers. But basically, top of my list, Mass Effect, D&D.
yeah, I pretty much would do Mega Man X, Diablo 3, and Mass Effect. I really don't. I'm really pressed to try and think of another series.
Maybe BioShock?
I haven't played that, but I didn't really care. I don't know.
It's pretty cool. BioShock Infinite's one of my favorite games, I think, of 2013.
I want to see Unreal Tournament.
Turn that into a web series.
Yeah. Well, it could be an animated series, like on Netflix, and like with some kind of like hardcore, like either CG or animated, anime style animation to it.
Maybe they could redo Doom and not make it suck.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, that film was shit.
I liked parts of it. I really did. But
It was.
At the same time, yeah.
It had the heart of some of Doom, like some of the information and some of what it contained. And then I liked some of the first person stuff that they did, but then like where they had the Rock.
He just did that because he wanted to have some fun.
Yeah, well, yeah. I get superpowers. I'm an alien.
It's my evil gene. Fuck off.
I know. And then Carl Urban, Dr. McCoy became a superhuman con.
You know what would actually be a half decent series, but you would need the most talented team of writers to pull it off? Duke Nukem.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
It would basically be Kung Fury meets Arnold Schwarzenegger. If you could get those two groups of people to work together and create a series, that would be amazing. Duke Nukem, the series. Put that on fucking Netflix. Make it R-rated, make it funny, and make it ridiculous.
Well, and the thing about it is people would actually watch it because of how rabid they were over Duke Nukem Forever coming out, even though that was like a huge letdown.
Yeah, and like if you got someone who understands satire and humor and over the top shit, like the guys, I think it's from Laser Unicorn, who did Kung Fury, it could be amazing. Especially if you got like David Hasselhoff as I don't know, Duke Nukem's boss or something. You could have so many amazing fun things with that.
So many infinite possibilities of things that could come out of it. I'd honestly, I can't wait to see what that spawns in the questions and comments area.
That's right. So if you guys want to see Duke Nukem the fucking series, let us know.
Really anything. I mean, I'm curious to see what people choose. So before we close the show, is there anything you'd like to promote?
Well, hopefully tomorrow or today, I should be finishing up RPG a Day on my YouTube channel. I'll have Steve link it below. I typically do my videos in huge batches, so I don't do them one per day, which I should be doing. But I'll have like up to what's today? Today's date. I'll have
the 28th.
I'll have videos 20 through 28 today. So I'm going to record all afternoon tomorrow. And yeah, so you'll see those probably at some point at night. I know me and Mike are doing the wrestling podcast tomorrow night to talk about SummerSlam.
Uh-huh.
Looking forward to that. I was supposed to get a botched roll out this week, but my computer corrupted the recording. So I'm going to have to record that again on Saturday.
That sucks.
So, yeah, I was annoyed massively. So I'll talk again about, and I have all these books. We'll talk about that, and finally, what else is coming up? Topic show next week on Mystery Science Theater 3000. So I'm doing nothing but watching Tom Servo this entire weekend, and it's going to be fucking awesome. So that's what I got coming up.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to be doing. Yeah, so other than the fact that I just got 75 megabyte download speed from Comcast, I'm kind of at a loss of what I'm doing. So just stay tuned to my Twitter, which is at SCP21, and all of yours are, sir?
Mine is at Birdman on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
So until next week, get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks.